Jim Collison, we are live again from Infotech 2014 here out of the Gallup booth, and I am with some guys from Proxibid, and we'd like to get to know you a little bit. Chance and Greg. Chance, why don't we start with you? Tell us kind of who you are, where you're from, what you do, your role in the organization, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Chance Irvine, Director of IT Operations and Infrastructure. Responsible for all of the technology that plugs in. If it's on a desktop, if it's physical, it's my role.
Okay.
And grew up in Northwest Missouri, been in Omaha since '98. Loving the life of Proxibid.
Very good. And Proxibid is an Omaha company, right?
Correct.
Headquartered here. Any locations outside of the Omaha area, or is everything data center, everything here?
Well, our office location's here. We have a hosted partner that's out of state.
Okay.
But then we run events all over the world. So,
Sure. Sure.
But everybody's out of Omaha.
Okay, very cool. Greg, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Greg Nichols, Chief Technology Officer for Proxibid. Been at Proxibid for 4 years now, and on a mission to build this company and build the infrastructure and IT components into world-class, enterprise caliber. And as far as myself, I've been in Omaha for longer than I care to mention in the IT space, mostly in software. But like Chance says, we're living the life at Proxibid.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about Proxibid, Greg. Tell me what do you guys do? What's your niche? Those kinds of things.
All right. Well, Proxibid is the most trusted marketplace for buying and selling highly valued items. Most of what we have done historically has been mostly in the auction space, live and timed. Not too dissimilar from eBay, but we've done a little bit different twist on it. Is we spend a lot of time investing in risk, making sure we keep bad sellers and bad buyers out of our marketplace. And the other thing is we use highly valued items. I think our average sale price for an item is around $900, where eBay is going to be probably more around $50 or $60.
Or even less, maybe.
Or even less, yes. But on an average
yeah.
basis, that's kind of where it ends up.
Yeah. What kind of technology challenges do you guys have, or do you face from just the infrastructure, the sheer infrastructure? Certainly. Well, and how do you compare to eBay as far as transactions goes, number of transactions?
Well, eBay is obviously a giant.
Absolutely,
and,
yeah.
We're not near that caliber. We're more of a niche player, trying to build our environment to be more of an asset liquidation platform, versus strictly a live auction platform.
Sure.
So some of the technology challenges we have from our standpoint is when we're dealing with live auctions. Latency is a huge issue. We've got auctioneers that are managing an on-site sale and got live people there raising their paddles up to buy some things. So to be competitive with the internet space, we got to have our bids right there with them. So that's one area that is a technology challenge, and we also want to try to mimic the live experience as much as we can. So we stream live audio and video through a lot of our events, and so keeping the latency within live audio video feed is also challenging. Streaming video is pretty easy if you buffer, but buffering means delay and latency.
Right.
So those are two of the challenges we have right now.
And that means a lost sale, potentially,
yes,
right? Just even by a second or two. And so what kind of technologies have you been using to try to help to overcome some of those latency problems that you might be having?
We have some partners that we're using right now as far as a live video stream. But the other thing we've done from just a bidding perspective and a buying perspective is we got a pretty lightweight framework, so we can move things around pretty quickly. And it is, although in certain cases it might be a lifetime, but when you are talking about bidding, a half of a second is not going to be the end of the world. But so we keep it pretty lightweight, and we keep that top of mind as we build our solutions.
Sure, you almost have to look towards the stock exchange model, right, as far as transactions happening very, very quickly and being able to move that much data around, although you probably don't have to move as much as they do on a regular basis. You guys are here speaking. You have a session here at Infotech. Tell me a little bit about what that's about. I know you're sharing a little bit of your story there.
Certainly.
Go ahead. Yeah, you're on.
So we had a large opportunity back in September 2013 in Pierce, Nebraska. The Lambert Chevrolet dealership liquidated all their assets.
Yeah, I read that in the paper. Yeah.
So we have an auctioneer partner in Vanderbrink Auctions, and they asked us to come along for the ride on that. And there was about 20,000 people, as I understand it, that were actually in Pierce. And we had a little over 4,000 folks registered to buy through our platform. and definitely a large exposure opportunity. There were folks from all over the world participating online. There were people from all over the world there in Pierce, and the unique thing about that event, while there was well over 400 vehicles there were about 50 or so cars that were effectively brand new vehicles, but they're 50 years old.
Right. Right. And the backstory on that was this was a dealership, a gentleman who just, when he couldn't sell it, he would park it in a garage, and some of his vehicles just sat, right?
Correct.
Trade-ins and some other things, brand new vehicles that just sat for
I think
a long
was
time.
More than couldn't sell. I think that he had a policy about not selling used cars.
Okay.
He had a policy that if a car went from the current model year, he was not going to sell it. And so it was a personal choice, a business choice he made, and whether it was a retirement vehicle or, or so to speak, or something else, I don't really know.
Yeah.
But
and then that was the event, and what we were talking about in our session yesterday. We had information about this about 5 weeks before the event started, and we had all kinds of things to look at to make sure we could support this event. We are used to having an event out in the field, out a little bit outside of a metropolitan area, but usually it's a lot fewer people going to be there. We can depend on carrier wireless to get our connectivity.
Okay.
Well, initially we heard there would be 8,000 or 9,000 people there, so that's not going to work. The cell tower ain't going to support.
Overwhelm.
That's right.
Yeah,
so we had all kinds of issues to look into, and we basically just talked through the plans we put together and the journey to Pierce from the 5 weeks ahead, and everything we had to do with our platform.
Yeah. So can you share a little bit about the actual setup? What you had to do, kind of the obstacles you had to overcome?
Certainly, and I'll throw out up front, luck plays a big role in something like this. And about a week into our planning, we had another event in our platform where a famous person put something on Facebook, and we got a large amount of traffic back to our platform from that. And it gave us a spike that was significantly higher than anything we'd ever seen. And with Pierce being a few weeks away, we all looked at that. We got the executives together, and all the technology folks said, okay, this is what this was this morning. What do we think Pierce is going to look like? And we said, okay, wow, we better plan for 4 to 6 times what that spike was.
Okay.
And basically, in about from that point, within 3.5 weeks, we had completely upgraded all the hardware in our production platform. That was necessary to hold the traffic we thought we might get. There were several trips up to Pierce to test how communications would work in that field. When we first went up, well, there's no power in the field, there's no technology at all anywhere close, and we ordered DSL lines and landlines to support us there for communication and connectivity. And then when the time came and we get up there a few days ahead to test all these things, the local providers that were bringing in those tools and resources, they took it upon themselves to upgrade. Oh. So instead of DSL lines, we had fiber lines.
Oh, nice.
And we're like, hey, wait a minute, we didn't order fiber. That's okay. So it was real interesting from the perspective, everybody and everything surrounding this event, no one wanted to be the entity that let down on any part.
It got a lot of visibility.
Oh, yes.
Both local, national, and global, right? I mean,
yes,
in the car business, which is big, everybody kind of knew this was going on.
We recognized that very early, and we kind of fired up our marketing arm to handle a lot of the media. There was and a lot of print and advertising. So we really launched a promotion. We got coverage in the UK. We got coverage in Australia. All 3 nightly news outlets had a human interest story in the Lambert Chevrolet family. So that just kind of bled into a significant promotional opportunity for Proxibid.
Sure.
And
and
I think we got all that we could handle.
Probably now. Certainly that spike in user traffic. Did it go back to when you were done, or did you retain some of those customers that came as part of all this promotion that goes on? Or can you tell that?
Yeah, we got significant volumes, and it was a lot of exposure to our site that people had not seen before. So we had a lot of new accounts. We had a lot of new exposure. We've seen an uptick in accounts, and a lot of them are retained. It's not. Our business is rather cyclical because it's event driven. It's not a static site where people come and conduct e-commerce on a anytime 24-hour basis.
Right.
There is an event. If you're going to buy this particular item, you got to buy it now.
Yeah.
And so it's very cyclical. We see ebbs and flows in our volume all the time.
Mm-hmm. From an infrastructure standpoint, sounds like is a lot of your infrastructure in-house? Do you physical servers that you own? Have you moved much to the cloud from that standpoint, or how's that work for you?
Well, we still have things in our server room in our office, but most of that's back office production to run the office. All of our technology for production, our website and our bidding platform, that is all hosted in the cloud. We have a private cloud deployment. Due to the latency issues we talked about earlier, we cannot afford a noisy neighbor situation.
Right.
So we can't go public cloud. We had a few pieces in public cloud before, and it just didn't work out well. So anyway, all of that technology's in that private environment, and then we have like the streaming partner and some other partners that are also cloud-based. Our streaming partners got servers in a provider that we can put those streaming servers all over the world wherever we need them.
Good.
So
you talked about a little bit of luck. Last question I'll ask you on this, but a little bit of luck. Did you learn lessons through that experience? Sounds like a lot of things went right for you. Any things in there, any lessons learned where you think, oh, boy, if we get another shot at this, I'd do it a little bit differently?
I think we did a lot of things right. I mean, there's certain dominoes fell the right way.
Yeah.
We had some things that didn't fall the right way, right? Chance failed to mention that there was a thunderstorm the night before the actual event that actually damaged some of the components that we had already deployed and tested. So there are some things that, like this, when you're talking about a once-in-a-lifetime event outside, that they're uncontrollable. I think that we did a good job. The team did a great job of planning, trialing, adjusting, adapting, planning, adapting. So we did a lot of things. As far as lessons learned, this is a one-of-a-kind event, right? And I think that we could have probably done a little better job as it relates to coordinating with the overall event. It was just overwhelming for a lot of people because it just was much bigger than people have ever seen. So I think that for our team, Proxibid, we have enterprise caliber guys there and people there. So we were taking the charge on trying to get this thing lined up the right way, and we're capable of adjusting and adapting. And others had not seen this before, so they weren't exactly sure how to handle all the aspects of it. So we helped them out as well. So, but I don't know if there's any major lessons learned. I think that our success was largely attributed to a good team, and there was enormous personal sacrifices that people that made, right? I mean, they said, I am not going to let this fail. And, and the Proxibid team and our partners stepped up and made it happen, for sure.
Yeah. Did you guys, were you able to find a place to stay there during take an RV out maybe?
Well, actually, we had one gentleman take his own camper up, and then we had 2 mobile RVs that we drove up.
Oh, very good.
So there was a couple people there for several days before and throughout, and then a small team showed up the day before.
Town was absolutely overwhelmed.
Oh yeah,
I imagine on that day, a banner day. They'll never see another day. O'Neill, right? Pierce. We'll probably never see another day like that again, maybe forever. You're here with a partner, though. You're presenting on behalf of a partner.
No.
Is that right? No, just you guys. On behalf of you guys. Okay. Well, thanks. Proxibid.com, right? If folks are interested in checking out what's going on out there, and so again, you're not eBay, right? You're really higher end, auction style.
Well, we
special
have,
events, right?
We have a lot of different categories. We have 15 categories ranging from firearms to antique collectibles to heavy construction equipment, farm equipment, commercial and industrial. So we've got a wide range of things. The inventory out there changes on a regular basis. Last year we represented $2.3 billion worth of gross merchandise value out of that. So a lot of stuff out there. It changes over on a regular basis. So
can I set up an alerting system so that I could log in and say, hey, whenever whenever a John Deere tractor goes on sale, I want to know about it.
Yeah, that's on our roadmap.
Okay, good.
One of the things we're working on right now is a robust enough taxonomy to be able to support alerts and some things like that.
Yeah.
Right now we've got some search capabilities, and you can find a lot that might be sold
Sure.
in a few weeks, and you can watch that lot and you get notifications of
Yeah.
how that's coming, what the
Okay.
bids are doing, and
Yep.
reminders and some things like that.
Some of those specialty items, you're not looking for all the time. So,
Sure.
Chance, I keep cutting you off. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. We also have 2 other brands right now, thefinest.com, sort of a fine art focus, and then shopdivvy.com, where it's a reverse supply chain opportunity for various brands out there.
Explain that to me.
Electronics.
Electronics.
Okay.
But reverse supply chain, refurbished equipment from,
Gotcha.
say, Vizio or Samsung or Asus, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And we're partnered with a company out of Sioux City, Dakota Bid, and we have or Dakota PC, and our joint venture is Dakota Bid.
Okay.
And ShopDivvy's the site for that, and there's all kinds of electronics out there.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for taking a few minutes just to sit down with us and
You bet. Thank
talk
you,
it through. Greg, Chance, thank you for doing that.